Good day, class. This will be the last part of our discussion about the techniques and giving expanded definition of words. This video will also include the instructions in doing your performance task, and please be reminded that this part of the lesson will be included in your summative test tomorrow, so I hope that you will finish watching the whole video. Let's begin. Here are the learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, you are expected to learn how to recognize the final three techniques in giving expanded definitions. You will also learn to analyze a given expanded definition and to justify the essentials to learn the techniques in giving expanded definitions of words as a new researcher. Let us have the word of the day, which is scrutinize. Scrutinize is a verb that means to examine closely or minutely. Like, for example, the researchers carefully scrutinized the data to identify any potential biases or errors that could impact the validity of their findings. As we go on with the lesson, you will encounter how this essential word will be used in writing your research paper. Now let's have the seventh technique in giving expanded definition. One of the techniques in giving expanded definition is through analogy. In analogy, you will try to define the term by comparing it to a dissimilar term to make it more familiar and easier to understand for your readers. Like in the given example, Jose Rizal is being compared to a master key, saying that just like how the master key works for the treasure chest, Jose Rizal also served an important role to our country when he produced masterpieces that opened the eyes of the Filipinos, especially during this time, to seek freedom and to fight for our country. Meanwhile, the eighth technique of giving expanded definition is by contrast or negation. And this technique shows how the term that you are trying to define differs from others of the same class. Take a look at the given example. To define adobo, its ingredients and taste is being differentiated to the taste and ingredients of sinigang. The point of contrast and negation is to emphasize the difference of two terms of the same class. Like in this example, both terms adobo and sinigang are examples of Filipino dishes. And now, for the last technique about giving expanded definition of words is through comparison. To easily tell the difference between comparison and contrast or negation, comparison is simply focused on providing similarities of a certain term with the other terms of the same class. To understand it more, let's have this example. It states that the similarity of the process of data analyzing and examining a jewel both involve scrutinizing, or the word scrutinize that we have tackled earlier, which means examining the data or the jewel closely or carefully to recognize and understand its characteristics. Like examining a jewel, data gathered in your research should also be studied well in order to achieve an accurate interpretation out of it. Now that you have learned about all the techniques in giving expanded definitions, please conduct this performance task with your research groups, which is also your groups in your math research. So you will be tasked to write a one-paragraph essay with 10 sentences to define the word family. You use any of the given ways on how to expand a definition, it's your choice, to form a paragraph. To achieve a perfect score in this performance task, a scoring rubric will be given to you to serve as your guide in writing or giving expanded definition of the word family. This scoring rubric will be sent to your GCs, and if you have questions, you can ask in the GC. So that's all for today. Thank you and stay hydrated.